Welcome you guys to another episode of Accelerate Your Best Life. My name is Zack, and this is...
I'm Tom Worth. Good to have you guys. So grateful for this opportunity. It's amazing how fast these weeks go by. We get so excited to do this and sit and chat and hopefully help people as well as ourselves. Man, thanks for tuning in.
Man, I'm just over here grooving. I'm excited for today's episode. Today, we are going to talk about following through on your word. Just want to touch on something really quick. If you guys are looking for a good book right now, I recommend The 4 Agreements. Tom and I are reading that right now. And man, I just have to say, such an amazing book.
Well, and it is, and it's life-changing. So just a little bit about my story and when I finally caught on and started making some changes.
Yeah.
And this was back in 2017. My brother offered me that book because I was really had some challenges and some struggles and was really getting my ass kicked, in life. And, and everybody, I'm sure you go through that because you have to go through the challenges to identify that you want more than where you are, right? To have that vision of the future. And at that point in time in my life, really, it was just everything I could do to make ends meet. I was on the process where I was in a house and ended up losing the house and was going to end up on the street, and luckily I had a brother, and my brother's relationship wasn't that good, right? But he had been led onto the book and he'd been reading it. And he says, you probably really ought to read this book. And I said, that's stupid, right?
Oh, yeah.
Why would I want to read a book? Right?
Yeah.
Okay, I will. So I took it, and you know what? I read it, and it turned me around. It changed my life. The 4 agreements. What's the first agreement?
Be impeccable with your word.
And is that the most important one?
Oh, yeah. Yes, it is. Sorry. Ignore that head shake. It was supposed to be this way.
But we figured out over time being in sales that it's easier to do this than it is to do this. So when we ask for a sale, we just do that with our customers, have a little fun, so they say yes. Right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. But no, yeah. It talks about being impeccable with your word. And getting into the book, that's the first one it touches on. And it says that is so important. And I just have to say it rings true because it really is. Mm-hmm. When you're not true to your word, you got bullet holes in your self-confidence. You're not feeling yourself. You're riding this low energy, this low frequency, right? Like it's hard to even look at yourself in the mirror sometimes because you're like, oh man, I look ugly. I don't feel like this. But when you start following through, you start seeing yourself in a way different light. And you're like, man, like for example, me a couple months back, I'm really struggling with myself, all this stuff. It's because I kept saying all these things. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And as small as it is, even like, hey, I'm going to do the dishes tonight. And then I go to bed and down the next morning.
And they're still sitting there in the morning.
Yep. And my confidence is just broken down. And then I start, okay, all right, Zach, look at myself in the mirror. We're going to have this talk. We have got to just start following through. And something I say now is I can't just talk. Sorry, I'm not going to talk about all of it. I can't talk about everything because I'm a big talker. I love to talk a big game. And I've realized that and come to see that with myself and having that self-awareness that I love to talk a big game. Oh, I'm going to do this and this and this and there's this. And I can do this and this and this. Where's your action, bro?
Right.
Why aren't you this? Why don't you have that? Why don't you have this? What? And I start asking myself those questions, and it really broke my confidence down. So instead of I'm going to talk, I'm going to speak less and I'm going to do more.
Yep, exactly.
Action will take you out of doubt, and doubt will take you out of action, right?
Boom. That is so true, dude.
It is. And I think we talked about that in an episode last week or a couple weeks ago. But it's super true. It will take you out of action. That doubt will, but that action will take you out of doubt. So following through on my word, having more action behind it. Okay, this is how I can put the action in. Having the plans in place, having the routines, the habit trackers, all those little things just to help me follow through with my word,
Yeah.
But now,
and they're reminders, right?
Exactly.
So it's like, but that's, I mean, going back to 17 when I was really struggling and this book just hit me because I don't care who you are. Over time in life, we want to feel good, right? So it's easy to tell somebody something and then not follow through. We want to make ourselves, blow ourselves up and make us look good, even though inside we are just chaotic and hurt and just emotionally distressed and hateful towards oneself, right? But that be in your word, as soon as I heard that, it just rang so true to me. And there's with the self-authoring. I was really self-authoring back then, identifying how often really I was lying to me. Mm-hmm. So what happens if you lie to yourself? It makes it simple to lie to you, to lie to anybody else, to lie to you. As within, so without.
So when you start doing that too, do you start to get a little delusional and you believe your lies too?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I buy right into the stuff. Mm-hmm. But does it progress me forward and get me where I want to go? No. That's the truth.
And we all know there's someone in our lives that's big talk. The big talk guy. Mm-hmm. Oh, yep, that's him. And he always talks this big, or I know this guy, I know this business, this, that, like just trying to be everything, right? We all know big talk.
Well, we kind of deal with that every day. Yeah. But, Yeah. But anyway, that's being on the side of that. Man, honestly, that book right there, that book is money. Invest in yourself. Go buy that book. You got to read it. I promise you it will serve you.
There is
at some level.
There's a free Audible reading on YouTube. If you can't afford it, you can't go buy one. There's so many amazing resources out there right now. YouTube is such a big one. If there's a book you're wanting to get, can't afford it right now, look it up on YouTube, see if there's a reading, try that out, and then go buy that book. But seriously, there's so many resources just to help you be successful out there.
Yeah, and that one book right there, that's one. I mean, the Audible does a lot for you, but there's some power into reading.
Yeah.
So if you can, give up a couple Cokes a day, whatever, and create it and get it in your hands and read it again. Because what happens is the more I read it, and say we're reading it now and it's been 5 years, and it gives me new nuggets.
Yeah.
And I've read it a couple times in between that because it's been a powerful book. But I always get something new every time I read something. Yeah. Do you get that one?
Oh, every time. My most favorite book is The Alchemist.
Right.
And I have read through that book time after time after time. I can tell you, I could go read it again and I would not take anything that I got the last 10 times reading it that I have gotten out of this next time. There's always just so much more. It's like with a movie too, and I don't want to talk really about movies, but with The Alchemist, I've audibled, I've read that book, I've read it, and I always think, oh, that's my favorite part. No, this is my favorite part now. Oh,
it changed. Life changes.
When did this happen? I don't remember this happening. Oh, that's my favorite part. That's my favorite part. Man, the whole book's my favorite part. Yeah. There's so much good in it, and going back and getting new nuggets, relearning.
And you just grow and level up again, right? Your energy changes. Your energy just comes up to another level, and that's really what we're doing is stepping, right?
Yeah.
Towards that vision of the future, but ultimately living right here. The past is gone, right?
Yeah.
Other than things come up and you end up in your past, feel that emotion this time. The reason it's coming up is because you're not feeling. It's okay to feel and it may hurt, but just feel it and come in tune with it and find forgiveness at some level. That's going to bring you out of your past totally and you'll be able to live right here, right now. Just had to add that a little bit, kind of off track, but it's very important because I've had a few things happen to me recently that I've had to go back because I've lived a lot. And sometimes I forget about it, but all of a sudden something happens and I identify it, and it was that thing I needed to heal to where I could propel forward.
Oh, I love that.
And so be aware of that. It's okay to drop back there, but it's not okay to stay there because that's not who you are. Who you are is where you're at right here, right now.
I agree.
Right?
Let me ask you something. So, you being you, how do you feel like in your life and changing and growing, how do you feel like with taking this book in and applying that, be impeccable to your word? How do you apply that? What do you do? Like, do you follow through every time you say you're like? I just want to
Yes.
know, how has it really changed you?
I mean, it's just it.
Mhm.
It's either your word or you're not.
Yeah.
And if you say you're going to do something, you best do it. Because if you don't do it, like Zack said, you go in, you look at the mirror. Well, I didn't do that. There's that chatter in your head that's going to hold you in smallness. But the reason that's happening is you created that because you didn't keep your word, right?
Yeah.
But I know is what I learned over the years is being your word is the very, 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 very most important first change
Mm.
to
Wow. Actually, I
get
love
what
that.
you want.
Yeah.
Because you can only live a lie for so long. And the truth is, it's a lie. If you're not doing what you're saying you're going to do, it's a lie. Would you agree?
I do agree. I do agree.
And that's why I'm so passionate about be your word. If you say you're going to do something, you best do it. Or don't say it. You got that choice. Don't say it.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Oh yeah.
So if you're discerning and growing and evaluating, you're identifying, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because anymore, I will observe and think and then do. Right?
Yeah.
And if I'm really feeling it, I'll commit. Because if I commit, I'm in. And I will do it. That's just all there is to it. Because keeping your word, it's magical.
Yeah.
I promise you, you turn that one part, be honest, number one, admit that you lie. It's okay. We all did. We all do. But it's magic. Just that one step, impeccable to your word, will change your life, period. I believe that.
I do agree with you on that. I do agree.
It's changed ours, bro.
It has. It's flipped a complete different switch,
Mhm.
man. I'm like, it's crazy. But I do just have to say another aspect. It filters into every aspect of your life.
Absolutely, it does.
Because whether it's business, relationships, this or that. If you're telling your partner, and in all honesty, this is something I'm working through in my own relationship. I will a lot of the times tell my girlfriend, "Hey, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do this," and I find my follow through hasn't always been there, and it's caused some mistrust in our relationship. So there's certain times where I am like, "You are not gonna say you're gonna do that unless you're gonna say."
Love it. And
If
you're
you
holding
say,
yourself.
yeah, I'm gonna do it, right?
You're holding yourself accountable.
Yep.
But you got to.
And if I don't, I'm a lot quicker to acknowledge that than I'm not
Oh.
to hide away from it. Hey, I'm sorry I didn't do the dishes last night. No, I said I was going to do them. As soon as I get home
No.
from work today, I'm on top of it. Just let me handle that. I got to own my word.
So,
And stuff like that.
So now that you own the word, the key to this is if you go for the sorry, you best know it, mean it,
100%.
and never do it again. Because you can apologize, you can be sorry, but sometimes that's just a mask. I mean, think about it in your own life. You got past that, but then you go and you do it again. I mean, so you just have to really be self-aware and conscious, right?
That is true. Because I will say that there is times that happens that
Dude,
but
we're
you're
human.
right, and it is being human, but at the same time being accountable to that, and that's something I will say moving forward from this. I'm gonna be a lot better on that because I didn't even come to that realization, but I appreciate you saying that.
Oh,
And that's the best thing about being in Accelerate Your Best Life is we seriously half the time when you guys are here just enjoying me and Tom working through things, talking through a lot of things, and we're being able to see stuff in our own lives, but also hopefully transferring back into yours that you can take a nugget, you can see something. Oh, maybe if I'm following through, doing a little bit better on this, I can be better. My relationship can get stronger because I will say the times that I've been fully followed through, my relationship has been like this. And me and her just feel like, dang, like we are such a powerhouse
So
together.
hold that thought right there. You and her right here, right? How's your follow through with you? Right? It's spot on, isn't it?
Yeah.
Your word with you, what did that create in that?
Confidence?
So, well, you're going to get confidence.
Yeah.
But because you have that trust within here, that's transferred outside in your relationship, right?
Into the relationship.
Sorry to throw you off a little.
No,
Just kind of go, right?
But I like it when you do that, because then I'm like, all right, well, because sometimes.
Well, where are we going, right?
Well, I've seen some of these mentors, some of these people, they'll sit there and ask a question and they'll kind of be quiet for a minute for a reason to let the person ponder and think. And that's something that I appreciate that you do. And I've tried to transfer that onto other people, where you ask a question, you don't keep talking.
Right.
I'm going to let you work through it in your head, because it really is crazy how it helps people work through certain things. Because sometimes Tom will ask me something and just sit there, and I start saying things, and it's me working through things in my head. Well, maybe it was this, maybe it was that. But anyway, I just really...
There's a lot of power to that. And even you guys being on that side and listening, these same scenarios will probably come up in you or any relationships you have.
Yeah.
But the point of that one right there was, everything is within.
It is.
As within, so without.
I love
so what you create in here, that's your exterior world. That's your mirror.
Yeah.
So if you're truthful and you keep your word and you're doing everything you say you're going to do, that's just going to make your love relationship better. That's going to make your other relationships better. It makes our relationship better because I trust you 100% because we don't bullshit each other.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it's just like if I missed a post day or you missed a post day, we're
my bad.
Hey, Tom, you got me.
Let's get consistent. We're right back at it.
We need to get right back to it. And that's also another area that I love, of just being able to catch and hold each other accountable too. Yeah. And that's something that I encourage for you guys, just having another level of accountability for yourself. And it's nice to have someone else, but also I'm not always going to have you to hold me accountable. It really does come back to self.
It does.
Self-word, talking, and what you say you're going to do, just following through and having steps or whatever you got to do to align that, to see how you follow through. But ultimately, just following through on what you say you're going to do, right?
That's funny. Like there's me and you, right? Mm-hmm. And then when we're alone, it's just me and me.
Yeah.
Who am I conversing with? Who am I bullshitting? I'm bullshitting that mirror, or I'm telling it's the truth. This is what I'm going to do, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Everywhere you go, everywhere you look when you're by yourself, it's you and you. What do you tell yourself? Hopefully it's good stuff. I love you. What a good dude. Man, I'm amazing. This is a great place to be. I'm creating everything I want in the world. There's so much abundance. We can have this, have that. We're creating together, me and me.
It is, but it does come back to a you and you, and I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it just does. It's so funny. But it's, who do you spend the most time with? Right.
That's why you got to get good with yourself, though.
Right.
And that's why I love that we're talking about all this, because it's, for me, self-confidence has been something that I have struggled with a lot. But I've realized that self-confidence came from, one, not having a good level of self-awareness with myself and being able to dive into that. But two, that saying I'm going to do stuff and not doing it for so long, year after year, month after month, day after day, saying, I'll do this, I could be this, I'm that, I could do this, and not having the action, not having the follow through, really put me in a dark place with myself, and just to a point where I even just felt like I couldn't even really talk to people, and like, I don't know people, I don't know how to talk to people, and that's not my energy. My energy is really inviting. I really bring in a lot of people, and just going through that, why are you feeling like this? Why are we, and me and you had to work through a lot of it too, and there was a lot of times that we had to sit there and have talks and work through things, and I'll even say last week we skipped our video because me and Tom just sat there and had a minute where I was struggling with a lot of stuff, and Tom just starts working through thing by thing, asking the questions and sitting there and letting me answer all the questions. And right? Well, I don't know. I asked you, you're asking yourself now. And having that time to sit there with myself and kind of, you asking the question is me talking to myself and, okay, well, how can I work through this? How can I be better? And honestly, a lot of it does come back to follow through. come back to my word,
It
what I
does.
say I'm going to do. And that's the crazy level of having a self-awareness, having this level of self-awareness and just being able to dive into yourself, ask yourself questions. But ultimately, I do seek a lot, not seek. I have a lot of trust and confidence in you, and I do really appreciate that. And I would just encourage you guys out there. It has been so hard for me to find someone, but when I found this man helped me so much with finding myself, finding that voice that I had hidden for so long, and bringing that big voice, that big energy back out. I do encourage you to find someone like that, because Tom, you've
Right.
seriously done a lot for me.
Well, and it's like I've told you before, it's mutual, because what I get out of it is I get always, every time a conversation is there, I always get something out of it too.
Yeah.
It's not just for you, but it's for me too, because it takes me into a place, part of where I've been in my past, stuff that I'm healing. All of a sudden, you're healing, but it's just in a different sense.
Yeah.
But it's a beautiful thing, right? And that's what we're just going to say to you guys out here. If you have questions seriously, please put a comment on the bottom. We'll IM you, talk to you, whatever. We want to help. We don't ever go in an aspect that we know it all,
Not at all.
because whatever it is for you, you have that answer. Source is in you. You have every opportunity to create that if you're willing to be impeccable to your word with yourself.
One more thing, you got to be vulnerable too, and
Absolutely.
you've got to be open to being vulnerable.
Dude, I always have struggled with the vulnerability.
Oh, and I have too. And I'll just explain it a little bit, not jump fully into it, but we're having this talk last week, and I have my guns out at Tom. I'm like, okay, why are you asking me this? Why are we being like this? And I'm super abrasive. And Tom just says something that just leveled me. We're just talking, bro. Hey, it's all good. We're just having a conversation. And I'm like, we are. This isn't a fight. This isn't
Right.
I gotta be better. You're better than me.
And it's not right or wrong.
Right? Yeah. No, none of that.
Life isn't right or wrong. It either works or it doesn't.
Yeah, exactly.
And how do we make it work? That's all Accelerate Your Best Life is. Have conversation. If things aren't working, we're identifying ways to make it work.
Yes.
So we can have everything we ever desired. We have a power in us that loves us so much. That's your source. That's the universe. He will carry you if you ask.
There's something that you say, and we haven't said it in a lot of our episodes, and I think we need to start saying it a little bit more. But with Accelerate Your Best Life, we do have a slogan. You got it. What is it?
Which one?
I guess we have a couple, but get raw and get real.
Yeah.
And that's what, when we started Accelerate Your Best Life, we'd say that a lot. And we'd say, get raw, get real, get raw, get real. Tom has said that for so long, get raw, get real. And that's part of the vulnerability, and be impeccable to your word. There's so many different nuggets that we talk about in each and every one of our videos. But it all comes down to, are you getting raw with yourself? Are you getting real with yourself? Are you being this real person? Are you being the person that you want to be, right? But yeah, that's just something that I want to touch back on, because it is getting raw and real with yourself.
And it is, because the rawness is really the vulnerability. But as what I've found is, the more vulnerable I am, the more powerful I am.
Oh, so powerful.
Right? So you get the raw, and then you get real. The real is impeccable to your word. And those two combined, you're a powerhouse, because that lights the fire within. Because if you got a desire, you've got to have a burning desire in here to go after and do the actions to get what you want. And it's just kind of weird how that works in. And you said something, David Goggins talked about something yesterday about always going to the gym and stuff too, but there was something about it was just so powerful that you shared that.
He talked about if you're hurting, physically hurting, your body is hurting, maybe, and you're doing the stuff like working out, stretching, maybe it's not the physical stuff. Maybe it's not that you're not moving and working out. Maybe it's the emotional and you haven't dove into that mental side of things. And that was really powerful for me because right now, for me, I am diving really hard into my past to uh, heal a lot of things and heal a lot of things that have happened to me. And man, my back has just been hurting so bad lately. My back was hurting really, really bad last week. It was in an area where I would say it was super thrown out. I'm just feeling like, oh man, I'm hurting so freaking bad. And I have this really long talk with Tom, and right after, I'm like,
God, my back don't hurt as much. I remember you
yeah,
saying that.
what the heck? And it didn't, and it was weird because it was so much weight and heaviness and pain that I was feeling. And I'm like, I've got to get to the gym and get this stretched out. I've got to go stretch this out. And after that talk, it felt so much better. And then I did go stretch it out, and I can't even tell you.
Love it.
After I went and stretched, my whole back popped like crazy and everything released. And I was like, wow.
It's funny. I'm glad you said that because I've been studying into the book about the body and what the body is. And it's, doctor, I don't want to go into it real deep, but it's called The Body Keeps the Score. And it's so true because everybody's had trauma in their life. It's different. What traumas I've had, what traumas Zack's had, what traumas you have, they're all different. But they are emotional traumas, right? They're experiences that hurt you. And I get it. And some are harsher than others, and everybody's got a little bit different. But if you're experiencing like a headache or some back pain or maybe some knee ache, maybe look in it more than likely it's going to be something emotional. Mm-hmm. But you got to be willing and vulnerable to take a look at that emotion and feel that emotion. And by doing that, there's just so much power. And even in the feeling that emotion, get to a place of forgiving that emotion. And I'm not saying you got to have that person right here, but if it's an individual person that you've allowed to cause that emotional hurt, it's okay to forgive that. Just by forgiving doesn't mean you have to get right back into that relationship. But we found out that the forgiveness is for you. If I forgive somebody, the forgiveness is for me, not them. Same with you. We was talking about that, right? Yeah. So, but emotions are a big deal, dude.
They're such a big deal. They're such a freaking big deal. And I didn't, I heard that David Goggins thing the other day, and I was like, holy crap. That is so true. That's just kind of what I'm doing right now is diving through that, and I am forgiving. What is the word? I'm giving forgiveness for apologies that haven't been said.
Exactly.
Is that the word?
Right?
Is that it? Yeah. Yeah, I'm giving forgiveness for apologies that haven't been said. For sorries that I'll never get, for things that I don't even have to acknowledge to these people, because a lot of the time some of this hurt that you're holding in, these people aren't aware of it. And sometimes do they need to be aware? Is it going to cause a huge fight? And if it does, maybe it does need to be made aware. But maybe there's a lot of grace that you could have for what's going on in that situation, what had happened, and giving that forgiveness. It may be really hard. There may be a lot of resentment, a lot of hurt, a lot of anger. But giving that forgiveness is not for them. It's for you. And when you can take a minute to dive back into your past and you can forgive people for things that they may not have known that they've hurt you, things that they may have known that they've hurt you for, and you can forgive them, you get so much peace in yourself. And that's what we deserve in this life, right?
And really our goal is to be free. Right? I think all of us, our goal and our dream is really ultimate freedom, spiritually, mental and emotionally, physically, financially. You can put particular stuff, but that all comes as a whole of wealth. You heal those three, the finances come to where you have the ability to take care of your family and do whatever that takes. That's the get raw, get real part. Yeah. Because as you get raw and get real with who you are, That's what the cool thing was with Goggins when you shared that with me, because everybody knows Goggins is a badass
Mm-hmm.
and running just a total badass, but they don't know the person he is, and he's really a gentle giant, but he's a hard worker, but he understands emotions. The reason he can do the things he does is he is in line with his emotions to where he can keep running and keep running and keep running and keep running. But he's in tune. He's been raw. He gets raw, gets real all the time, every moment. Would you agree?
I totally agree. One more thing,
Sorry.
and then so we don't make this
All right.
super long. I just want to share one more little thing on
Love
that,
it.
though. David Goggins, before he gets up and speaks on the stage, did you know he actually is super petrified and terrified of speaking in front of crowds?
I've heard that in this story.
As a kid, he was made fun of a lot. He had a really bad stutter, and he's like, I'm always afraid I'm going to get up on stage and have a stutter. So before every speaking event he does, he will go sit in a room by himself in that room. And I can't remember what exactly he says, but he just has conversations with himself and just works through all those emotions because he knows that they're coming up. And he's like, I know I'm going to go out and do what I need to do. But in order to do that, I have to be mentally prepared. So he does the things that help him prepare to get to that next level, to be that person that he needs to be. Sometimes you got to mentally prepare to be that person that you need to be.
And he self-authors all the time.
And
wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, and that's the key is self-authoring. You are you. It's an individual journey. But the good news is, as individuals, we get opportunities to share with other individuals.
Oh, we do.
With you. Just so grateful, guys. This has been a great one.
This has been a really good
I'm going to run one last thing.
Yeah.
I know we're extending a little bit, but the body tells the score. If you're in resistance to feeling emotion, I challenge you to feel. You've got to feel. The problem with addictions, struggles, stuff like that, alcohol abuse, is all that's using is a cover-up of that emotion. And I honestly believe that can all be overcome by going to the source within yourself and healing those emotions of your past to where you can look to the future but really live right here, right now.
I agree.
Anyway, this has been an awesome one. I just love you guys. I love you. Accelerate your best life. Tom Worth.
Zach Bradley, Mustache Media. Thank you guys so much for watching. We really appreciate it. I just got to tell you, if you do not see a light at the end of the tunnel, you are going to see one, and there is going to be one. There is a light, and I can promise you that. Good things are coming for you. I just appreciate you guys watching this. If you guys got a nugget out of today, I just ask that you share this video, share it out on your socials. Let people know about Accelerate Your Best Life and what we are trying to do. And we are just trying to accelerate you. Thank you so much, and we will see you guys in the next episode.
Any questions, please leave comments below. We will reach out. We'd love to get to know you and talk to you. So thank you. Sorry.